You cannot be a bidder and a regulator. My thing is, when it comes to money, power, and politics, people start to move real grimy and nasty. And the WNBA, man, how y'all rate at? WNBA versus the U.S. Senate. And again, I want to kind of set the stage for you a little bit. So if you haven't read into it or you haven't heard about it or you want to know more, maybe you're a little confused, whatever the case may be, we're going to break it down. I'm going to slow it down, break it out like classes in session, right? Because you know bull, you know ball. Because it's bigger than just basketball now. It's about money, it's about the law, and it's about power. All three things that have, you know how humans get about all three of those things, right? So in professional sports, team sales usually happen between owners and potential buyers. Leagues like the WNBA or the NBA, they do have final approval rights. But what's unusual here is the league reportedly is stepping in as a bidder itself. So if you remember a few streams back, I talked about the Connecticut Sun sale and how there was 3 potential buyers. And what one thing I misunderstood, because it's like a lot of moving pieces, but what I didn't know is the 3 places, there was 3 different bidders, right? One is to keep them in Connecticut. Another is to move them to Boston. And then another bid was to move them to Houston. Allegedly, the bid to move them to Houston is a WNBA pretty much advocating for that. Or they're either advocating to keep it in Hartford or they're advocating to move to Houston. Again, I'm still kind of confused at which bid that they're a part of, but we'll get more into that. But unbeknownst to the WNBA, the tribe, because right now a tribe owns the Connecticut Sun. Unbeknownst to WNBA, they had already kind of had like a verbal agreement with another bidder. So, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So because the league is stepping in as a bidder, so they're stepping in as a person, they originally have the power to approve or decline sales within the league. The WNBA simultaneously steps in as a bidder. So that blurs the line between regulator and competitor. And if the league is both judge and player, the antitrust alarm bells start to ring. And antitrust laws are to keep markets fair. So no single entity should block competition or monopolize an opportunity. Now, here's where the Connecticut Suns come in. The Mohegan Tribe, who own the team, put the franchise up for sale. Multiple offers came in, including some north of $325 million. And just to refresh your mind, it cost $250 million just to own a franchise or start a franchise in the WNBA. So the reason you see this $325 million is because of relocation fees, like building a new facility, etc. So this came from an interest in a group and team, a New England group in Boston or Hartford. But according to reports, the WNBA itself dropped a competing $250 offer, likely tied to the relocating franchise with Houston, floated as a possible destination. So that immediately sparked pushback. The Connecticut officials started weighing a plan for a minority stake to keep the Sun playing locally. And then Senator Richard Blumenthal, sorry, Richard, if I butchered that one, fired off a letter to the league warning them about these antitrust laws. If they're blocking higher bids or trying to strong arm the outcome, it could be a violation of these laws, these federal antitrust laws. Translation? The WNBA could find itself under investigation from Congress if they don't step carefully. The WNBA is so controversial this year. Very much controversial. I'm going to slow it down real quick because one more time, just in plain English, real quick. You've got a Native American team tribe selling a team. Private groups are bidding to keep it nearby. The WNBA wants to control, and now the U.S. Senate is waving the legal stick. Again, it's money, politics, and power colliding in basketball. Guys, I just want some. I just like, this is not what they need right now. Even like with the lockout and all this on the horizon. So Kathy Engelbert is going through it, I'm sure. Going through it. I know these past couple months been hell for her. But let me just check the chat real quick after giving that just talking a little bit about this US Senate versus the WNBA. Chicago Cheetah in the chat, Tulips in the chat. Man, I appreciate y'all. Thank you. 500 subs. And like, I know a lot of it has to do with Tulip, Chicago, Cheetah, and all my other like day ones, Ace Band Coons, who y'all promoted my stuff, told other people, shared my lives. Like, literally, like, I can't match that type of love and loyalty besides just continuing to tell you thank you. And hopefully, like, I don't know where this is going to end up, where the Lord wants this to end up, but man, I'm not going to forget y'all. And I hope I can repay it back in some type of capacity. I don't know. One day, man. But again, thank you all so much for tuning in, showing so much love. I appreciate you very, very much. But yeah. I don't see, my thing is, since we got money, we got politics, we got power, I want to emphasize or reiterate that the NBA has a huge influence on the WNBA. If you even look at the expansion in the current teams that are buying in to the WNBA, it's mostly people who have controlling interest in the NBA too. So it's not just up to Kathy, it's up to all the owners that have stakes and all the board, like everybody who has ownership and claim into the WNBA. So like, yeah, we got to hold Kathy accountable, just like we hold Adam Silver accountable, but it isn't just her. So, you know, we got to think about that. I feel like, I just think there's so much pressure on the WNBA right now. And like, I don't think they anticipated. I think it's like they got what they wanted, and now they got it and they don't know what to do with it. They wanted more views, they wanted more investors. They got this power, and now they are trying to abuse it. Come on, y'all. Come on. Now you got the US government stepping in. All I know is the Mohegan Tribe. I'm so sorry if I said that wrong. All I know is they probably hit somebody up and said, hey, you better make this work right now. As much as you come to my casino and all the free hotel rooms and the things I've done for you, y'all better step in. It's like a movie. Somebody need to write some movie script right now. Like, write a movie script right now. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. The real question is the WNBA protecting its business future by trying to steer this sale, or are they overreaching in a way that could damage its credibility and spark federal heat? I mean, I haven't covered this yet on my channel, but I already know there was talks, a month ago, not even, some blog or article dropped about this lawsuit that's going to come in for Caitlyn. I'm like, hold on, this civil suit. I'm like, oh my God, like, they don't need this negative energy. The WNBA does not need this negative energy, but if you got a civil lawsuit pending, who knows what that's going to end up turning into with Caitlyn. And then you got this U.S. senator threatening antitrust, setting a threat. It didn't even look like a threat. It looked like a promise. I'm curious what the WNBA is going to look like after playoffs. Because again, playoffs end before the October 31st deadline for the WNBA and the WNBPA, which is the Women's National Basketball Players Association. They declined their CBA contract, and they're in the midst of renegotiating. And so far, what the WNBA has been able to produce, the players have not been happy about it. And now you got owners of the league not happy with you because you're trying to block sales or trying to prevent certain markets from expanding. It's insane right now what's going on with the WNBA. And we're going to all be sitting here watching, seeing it all unfold. Hopefully it doesn't have any impact on the actual basketball, because that's really what's important here. But if I'm a Connecticut fan, I'd want them to stay. I feel like the Connecticut market, people try to like clown that type of market, but that's like a loyal fan base market. You know what I mean? Those are people that even if you were to put it in Boston, the Hartford, Connecticut fans might still take that drive. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's how loyal these types of fans are. But then you got like bigger markets like Houston. I know in the NBA, Texas is lit right now. Lit. Dallas is lit. Houston lit. Spurs are lit. Like, those teams are lit right now. Wemby coming back, KD on the Rockets, and Kyrie, AD, D'Angelo, that whole Clay, that whole team looking kind of spicy. You feel me? Once everybody gets healthy again. But still, so I can understand how Houston is attractive. I can understand how Boston, who just won a championship 2 years ago, is attractive. I understand that. But I'm a Connecticut. I would want them to stay. Yeah. We don't know. We don't know yet. And it's also kind of interesting to me that the WNBA would decline $325 million for a $250 million sale, but I guess they have this long game in mind where they're like, even if it's more money invested into this bid, we want this bid because we want this market. Now, I don't know how quickly this relocation would turn to relocation, reallocate, or whatever relocation would turn around. Like, what's the turnaround on that? Because we know there's 2 teams being added next year to make it 15. And then by 2030, there'll be 18. There'll be 18 teams. So I don't know how long, how many years all this would take to build a new facility. That sounds like a couple of years. But yeah, a lot of decisions to be made, a lot of loopholes that they got to jump through. And I'm curious to see what's going to end up happening. And the WNBA got to tread carefully, man. Just gonna check chat real quick, see what your thoughts are. Oh, I guess my main question is the WNBA abusing their power? You cannot be a bidder and a regulator. I don't think you could do that. But my thing is, when it comes to money, power, and politics, people start to move real grimy and nasty. And the WNBA, man, how y'all rate at?